New England is known for a lot of things: brutal winters, clam chowder, a Dunkin' on just about every block. But what about ghosts? Home to some of the oldest cities in the country, there are bound to be a few things that go bump in the night. My guest would certainly know that. Paranormal researcher Tom D'Agostino has written more than a dozen books about ghost legends and folklore in New England, and he joins me now to share a few of them as spooky season actually comes to a close. And we were talking off air, Tom. It's a busy time for you, I imagine.
Oh, yes, very much so. Yeah, everybody wants us.
How'd you get into this?
I actually grew up in a haunted house, and when I was in college, I stayed in a house. It was my friend had bought it, and he was going to turn it over, and he said, "Hey, you want to stay the winter there? You know, you're in college, and just all you got to do is take care of it." Well, I lasted about 6 days because every single night something really major was happening. And I couldn't study, couldn't sleep, couldn't study. Then I started studying the physical sciences, esoterical sciences, social sciences, everything, meteorology, just to see what or why this happens.
Well, I think that's so fascinating that your first reaction wasn't to run away and do something completely different. What do you think it is about your initial reaction when you realized you were living in a haunted space?
Well, for us, it always is unnerving. I mean, if you could be the most stout person in the world, but if someone sneaks up behind you and goes, "Ah," you're going to jump. So when things started happening, at first I'm like, whoa. And then they just escalated. You'd hear someone run up the stairs and wind would blow by you, and that was it. And it'd be like, okay, this is like a little, it's a little too much to be able to sleep and study at the same time.
So we know that New England is home to some of the haunted places in the world, I imagine, and certainly in the country. Talk to me about some of the most haunted places you've been.
Okay. One of them is the Concord Colonial Inn. And it just happened to be rated #1 on a few lists as haunted in the country. We've had experiences there. In fact, last year we were doing a live TV segment for WBZ CBS, and the Spirit Box, which you hear things happen in real time, actually began talking to the reporter.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Do you find that is it something about New England specifically that makes it more haunted than other places? I mean, certainly because, the way where settlers, I imagine there's a historical aspect to it.
Yes, New England is the oldest permanently settled, region in the country, and there was a lot of different strife. You had the wars, you had people starving, bad winters, the harsh living conditions, wild animals. When they came here, the first settlers, they didn't bring houses. There were no construction companies waiting for them. They had to do with what they had. And of course, also being part of the glacial dump, you have a lot of underground streams and quartz crystals, which create a natural battery, which can also perpetuate these kind of hauntings.
Wow, that's incredible. So I know that you run a tour as well as writing all of these books and things like that. What are some of the things you show folks?
Oh, during the tours, we go to different haunted places, everything from places that were haunted since King Philip's War to haunted inns and taverns and vampires. New England's the vampire capital of the world. It just happens to be as well.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. How is that? I think of, and maybe Mary Shelley is to blame for this, but I think of somewhere else, like Romania being the vampire capital of the world.
For over 100 years, hundreds, if not thousands of families were digging up their loved one thinking that there were vampires among them. Basically, they were dying of consumption or tuberculosis, and there was no known cure, so they turned to superstition. And, they thought the good spirit of a family member was coming out of the grave and feeding on another family member.
Okay. So vampires and ghosts, you can find on your tours.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's plenty of them.
That's incredible to me. So, you've written 17 books and you're talking ghost legends and things like that. What's your favorite story that you've told? Or I guess maybe the spookiest, if we could use that barometer now that we're one day before Halloween.
One of the spookiest is a place called Ramtail Factory in Foster, Rhode Island. And it's not only still haunted, believe it or not, the remains of the factory and village are in the woods and people can hike out to it. But it has that very romantic style ghost story too, like the guy, he's a night watchman. He's, he gets fired because he was an original partner, but he owed the factory money and they throw him out of the partnership and he threatens to kill himself and they find him hanging from the bell rope. And shortly after that, the bell starts ringing. And then, they see his ghost starting up the whole mill and this kind of thing. And then later on, his ghost with the lantern, the old lantern, when he used to go from building to building, is seen to this day. And it's just one of those really cool, old-fashioned romantic haunts. But to this day, people still see it.
That's incredible. And I am thoroughly scared and going to look under my bed tonight. So thank you for that, Tom D'Agostino. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you very much. Quite a pleasure and an honor.